A good afternoon to you. You're right on time for NTV at 1. My name is Olive Burrows. President Uhuru Kenyatta is at this hour in Kayole for the commissioning of the Soweto Hospital and is set to head to Ushirika Hospital in Dandora. He's accompanied by the Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General, and that is Major General Muhammad Badi. This is part of his legacy projects to launch health facilities in lower income areas in Nairobi, but he's been using the platforms to address national politics, as Vincent Odor will be telling us in a little while. Now to the chaos that rocked the Baringo County Assembly over the BBI constitutional amendment bill, and the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission South Rift Office has summoned 18 members of the Baringo County Assembly over the chaotic defeated BBI vote in the County Assembly last week. The 18 are wanted over their disorderly behavior, which the EACC says is against Chapter 6 of the Leadership and Integrity Act of the Constitution. Baringo stands as the only county assembly that has so far opposed the amendment bill.
We know it is Wafula, and tear gas, but we thank God because we finished.
A week into the violence-filled vote to reject the proposed constitutional changes in the Baringo County Assembly, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission says that 18 members present during the chaos have some questions to answer. According to the EACC, the 18, who include staff from the County Assembly, are expected to furnish the investigating authority with information on what happened on February 11th, as well as the personal files of Cabernet MCA Ernest Kibet and Mogotio MCA Charles Kosgei, who are said to have instigated the chaos. Those summoned include Assembly Speaker David Kiplagat, his deputy Jacob Cheboiwo, County Clerk Richard Koech, Assembly's Principal Sergeant-at-Arms David Ngeno, and Sergeants-at-Arms Amos Cherargoni and Tobole Logorio. The members of County Assembly are Silas Tochim, Maria Losile, Solomon Makal, Caroline Kesei, Betty Birchogo, Shadrach Mailuk, Lawi Kipchumba, Lorraine Sam, Daniel Tuwit, Ruben Chepsongol, Ernest Kibet, and Charles Kosgei. The leaders are said to have contravened Chapter 6 of the Constitution on Leadership and Integrity in the manner in which the proceedings were held. At the same time, the government continues to rein in on politicians at the BBI Public Participation Barazas in Nakuru County. Deputy County Commissioner Kuresoi North saying that they will not tolerate polarizing sentiments.
Na mimi nataka kutoa onyo kali ya kwamba ule kiongozi, ule mwanasiasa ambaye thubutu kutumia matamshi ya uchochezi, matamshi ya kugawanya wananchi ili hatimaye machafuko yatokee, tutakubali. Kiongozi kama huyo atakabiliwa kwa mujibu wa sheria.
Since the collection of BBI signatures began, local administrators have been tasked with pushing government agenda. The 18 MCAs are expected to present themselves at the EACC South Rift regional offices on Monday, 22nd of February next week. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.
To Mombasa County now, where the National Assembly's Committee on Budget and Appropriations, chaired by the Honourable Kanini Kega, is having a pre-budget review conference with the Treasury, the Central Bank, the Commission for Revenue Allocation, the Auditor General and other stakeholders. Let's listen in.
In either Treasury, also in the Audit Committee, and also the 4 line ministries which are in the Big Four. So basically today is a conversation that will inform the budget that we will have of 2021-2022. And as you are very much aware too, that we are in very difficult times. So it calls for us to adjust to the prevailing circumstances. So today our conversation is around what we need to budget for in 2021-2022, the areas that we need to improve on, and also the other emerging issues. And we have had deliberations with the Ministry of Industry, which is one of the Big Four, and also Health, have heard their presentation. We have also heard the presentation from the Ministry of Agriculture and also a presentation from the Ministry of Housing. So at the end of it, then we will be able to come up with a proper BPS, which of course will be tabled in the House in the next couple of days, I think by the end of next week. And also, we are also here to discuss about the supplementary budget. The supplementary budget, which was of course tabled in the House last 2 weeks. We need to interrogate it so that at least we also table it in the House by next week. So this is a very engaging session, and we know at the end of the day we will be able to come up with one common front, one common agenda, so that by the time we are now doing the budget, of course it will be a budget that will be properly informed by all the sectors.
Mheshimiwa, as we all know that as these deliberations continue going on, is the issue of the public debt will be part of the discussion here? Because it's rising exponentially. Definitely.
The public debt is not rising exponentially. No, it's rising. And as you increase and improve your GDP, definitely the cost also goes up. It is one of the issues that, of course, we will discuss because when you are now doing the budgeting, you look at the revenue that you are getting as a country and also the deficit. And the deficit all the time is addressed through borrowing, whether domestically or also borrowing through concession. But it's an issue that we have not discussed because, as you know, we don't have the Minister for Finance. So we have not dealt with that issue. Maybe it is an issue that we will deal tomorrow when the Minister for National Treasury will be available.
Yes, thank you very much. I think the Chair of Budget has explained the issues, and I'm very happy we're here. From leadership perspective of Parliament, we wanted to make sure everyone is aligned. We have a very busy schedule, as you know, between now and June, when we finish the budget cycle. In addition to
we have to cut that short to get to the rest of the day's news, but Kevin Mutai will have a comprehensive report at 7 and at 9. Meanwhile, Deputy President William Ruto is in Cheplambus in Baringo County for the funeral service of former politician Hosea Kiplagat. The Deputy President's arch rival in the Rift Valley region, that is the Baringo Senator Gideon Moi, is also in attendance, and he made quite the entrance, openly ignoring Ruto as he arrived. Things have gotten quite interesting in Rift Valley politics, especially after the Baringo County Assembly shot down the BBI reforms bill. It's alleged that this was a show of might, that Ruto can still control things in Gideon's own backyard. Other leaders attending the funeral of the former politician Hosea Kiplagat include the Baringo Governor Stanley Kiptis, the Turkana Governor Josphat Nanok, and Labour CS Simeon Chelugui. Ruto is set to attend another function this afternoon in Ngong, where he is bound to address the latest developments on the political front, which include new political formations and questions on his political isolation.
It requires a personal responsibility.
Wiper Democratic Movement leader Kalonzo Musyoka and the Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu have rallied members of the county assemblies from the Ukambani region to pass the Building Bridges Initiative Constitutional Amendment Bill. The two, who hosted MCAs drawn from Kitui, Machakos and Makueni counties, said they would engage the Makueni Governor Kivutha Kibwana in hopes of convincing him to board the BBI train. At the event, the two leaders also took shots at Deputy President William Ruto. They called his integrity into question and responded to his challenge to party leaders Kalonzo, Gideon Moi, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula, who have formed an informal alliance. Ruto challenged them to get on with the business of fronting a presidential contestant.
Because I saw Deputy President William Ruto akiuliza, tuonyesheni your leader. Walipoona mimi na Mudavadi na Weta na Gideon Moi, watu wamepatwa na tumbo baridi.
Mheshimiwa Kalonzo, I want you, and it's very good that mumeanza sasa kushikana. I was already giving up on you people. And that's why you hear Mr. Wilbaro saying that, so who is the leader? Who is the leader of this group? Simply because at that time, even in 2002, during Kibaki, Wamalo, and myself, they never saw a clear leader. But now that you have started, I am sure a clear leader is going to emerge.
The board of the Nairobi Securities Exchange listed marketing and communication company ScanGroup has suspended Bharat Thakrar from the office of Chief Executive Officer and as well as the Chief Financial Officer. In a cautionary statement to shareholders and investors, the company's board says that the suspension is aimed at paving way for investigations into allegations of gross misconduct and possible offences in their capacity as senior executives and employees of the company. The board says it has delegated authority to an interim chief operating officer, Alec Graham, as it considers the appointment of an interim chief financial officer for the company. Last week, ScanGroup announced changes to its board, appointing Jason Day and Sadiq as non-executive directors effective February 8th, 2021. The management of BOC Gas Kenya PLC says that it has finally commenced circulation of the takeover documents to its shareholders after a 23-day delay. The circulation of the offer document, the form of acceptance, the board circular and the independent advisor's circular was to commence on January 25th, 2021, but was pushed forward to February the 5th, 2021 before being pushed forward again. Listed carbon dioxide manufacturer Carbosid and Axaya Investments placed a bid for the takeover of BOC Gas Kenya PLC on the 25th of November 2020 at a price of 63 shillings and 50 cents. The offer for acceptance of the takeover will be open until April 6th, 2021. There is still a lot of headroom for innovation in the digital space when it comes to commerce and providing solutions to the problems that face the African continent. That is one of the key messages that came out on the first day of the Africa Digital Finance Summit, which is being held in Nairobi. The two-day forum kicked off on Thursday.
10 years ago, no one would have imagined how we transact. No one. No one would have imagined, the mshwaris and the, payment through WhatsApp and all these solutions that we have. Similarly, no one then can pretend to say that they can foresee how it will be 10 years from now. So it means that there's indeed still a great window of opportunity in business and in these digital transactions. And for legislation to be impactful, these cross-border transactions are important for SMEs to thrive in Africa. And we are moving towards the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. That will be equipped and it will run on the platform of digital finance.
We expect that we'll be hearing directly from President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is at the commissioning of the Soweto Hospital in Kayole. And it turns out that the time is now. President Uhuru Kenyatta at the commissioning of the Soweto Hospital in Kayole, I beg your pardon. He is then expected to head to Dandora to commission another health facility. It is all courtesy of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. Last week, when he similarly commissioned another health facility, he did address the political situation in the country, informing his deputy William Ruto that he cannot criticize government while still in government and he needed to pick a side. His deputy William Ruto then responded saying he has no intention of resigning his post as a deputy president. And although he did say that his job as deputy has been handed over to other members of government, I assume he was making making reference to the Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i. It was also notable that when President Uhuru Kenyatta hosted senior government officials in State House, Nairobi yesterday, his deputy president was conspicuously missing. Vincent Odwor is on the president's trail as he carries out the commissioning of those health facilities. Will be heading there to see if the president will have something to say on the developments as far as politics is in the country is concerned in a short while. To Uganda now, where a military court has jailed 6 soldiers for 3 months for beating local journalists who are covering opposition leader Bobi Wine. The incident took place right outside the United Nations Human Rights Office in Kololo, Kampala. Anita Nkonge with that report.
It is the stuff of nightmares for a journalist, covering a story only to end up battered and bruised. This is exactly what happened to several Ugandan journalists who were covering opposition leader Robert Kyagulanyi whilst he led a team to deliver a petition to the office of the United Nations Human Rights Offices in Kololo, Kampala. The chief of the Defense Forces has since owned up to the incident.
That incident is regrettable, and I want to take this opportunity to extend my apologies.
6 of the soldiers involved in the Wednesday incident have now been jailed for 3 months.
This was a deterrence measure to show that if you make a mistake, if you make an operational mistake, if you make a tactical mistake when you are on duty, you will be charged. And anybody who does that, we don't close an eye.
The Wednesday incident drew not only national and regional outrage, but international as well, with the Ugandan Editors Guild offering to provide legal support for the affected journalists.
Consulting our legal advisors as Editors Guild, and we are going to give
Fortunately, we've had to cut short that report by Anita Nkonge on the assault of journalists in Uganda so that we can go straight to President Uhuru Kenyatta, who's commissioned beg your pardon, a hospital in Kayole, the Soweto Hospital in Kayole.
Tukiwa tumekuja hapa siku ya leo kwa sababu ya hii hospitali yenu. Tulisema ya kwamba huduma ya serikali lazima iwe huduma ya kila Mkenya. Na vile Wakenya katika mitaa yetu ya Nairobi wanateseka, mama ambao wako tayari kuzaa wanatembea usiku kwa sababu hawana hospitali, na tukasema kwa kila mtaa wa Nairobi tutahakikisha tumejenga hospitali ya kisasa. Hii ambayo iko hapa ya level 2 ni ya hapa Soweto. Juzi tulikuwa Udhero tukafungua, tukaenda kule Kiamaiko, na bado tutaendelea mpaka tuhakikishe ya kwamba kila wodi katika mtaa wa Nairobi iko na hospitali yake, na wananchi wasiwe wanatembea kilomita na kilomita kutafuta matibabu, wae matibabu iko karibu na wao. Na hiyo ndio haja yetu, na hiyo ndio nia yetu. Sisi hatujakuja hapa kutusi mtu. Sisi hatujakuja hapa kuingilia mtu. Sisi tumekuja hapa kuuliza Wakenya. Sisi tunataka kujua shida zenu, tuweze tuzitatue pamoja na nyinyi. Shida kubwa ambayo ilikuwa sana Nairobi hii ni ukosefu wa maji. Na tukasema hata kama tuko na ile tunaita Northern Collector ambaye italete maji mengi zaidi kwa huu mtaa, lazima tuhakikishe ya kwamba between now and Haya, hata wakikataa tutaongea tu. Ndio tukakuja na huu mradi wa kufanya maboreholes. Ndio wale ambao makatels walikuwa wanakuja kuuza maji wapotee, na ile maji yote kutoka boreholes zote ambazo tumechimba, tumesema wananchi wapewe maji bure, hata ndururu hakuna kulipa. Kwako kukiisha maji, haja yako ni utembee katika pahali water point ipo, uchukue maji yako, hakuna kulipa tena hata ndururu. Tunaelewana wenzangu? Pia tumekubaliana na jemedari vile barabara hizi zivo, tunataka pia tuanze ujenzi wa hii mabarabara, wananchi wasiwe wanarukia matope wakati wanaembea. Si namna hiyo? Na hiyo ndiyo njia ya kubadilisha taifa letu. Na ndipo nasema sisi kama tunaweza tushirikiane kama Wakenya, kama tunaweza tupendane kama Wakenya, kama tunaweza kutatua shida zetu kwa kuongea, hakuna lolote ambalo hatutaweza kutimiza pamoja. Lakini tukiwa watu ambao wanataka kuchimbana, watu ambao wanataka kugawanya wananchi kwa mirengo mbali, hiyo ni vita inatuletea na umwagikaji wa damu. Mimi naambianga watu ya kwamba uongozi ni wa mara mbili. Unaweza uongoze na kifua, lakini unaweza kuongoza na upendo na majaliwa ya Mwenyezi Mungu. Kwa sababu sio ati lazima watu waongee. Kwa sababu ukipata cheo unaweza kufanya lolote. Lakini tukisema tuongee ni kwa sababu hatutaki kuona wananchi wakipigana. Wananchi ambao ni majirani wakipigana kwa sababu ya ukabila. Kwa sababu mimi ni wa mtu ya huyu au wa huyu. Tunataka kusema ya kwamba Wakenya wote wana haki. Na sisi kama viongozi kama hatuwezi kuongea, tunaletea wananchi vita. Mimi nataka niwaulize wenzangu. Kutoka wakati tulifanya handshake, si kumekuwa na amani? Kumekuwa na amani jameni? Si wananchi wanaishi pamoja? Si wananchi wanatembea pamoja? Si wananchi wanakula pamoja? Ubaya nilifanya ni nini jameni? Kunaye ubaya? Tukisema sasa kwa sababu ya kuongea tumesema tutatue yale ambaye tunapigania. Tukisema ya kwamba Nairobi hii na wingi wa watu inahitaji constituencies nyingi zaidi ndio CDF na pesa ya mashinani iongezeke, tumefanya makosa jameni. Mimi Uhuru nitafaidika na njia gani na mimi hata sitakuwa rais? Si ni yenu hii? Si mali itakuwa yenu? Kwa nini mwingine aseme hamuna haki ya kuipata? Kunaye haki hapo jameni? Na ndio mimi naambianga watu, chukua ile iko, ile ingine munaambiwa ahadi ambazo munaambiwa, utakuwa tayari umeshika ile ambaye iko, ahadi utakula ingine baadaye. Ama ni namna gani jameni? Ama ni namna gani? Kwa nini ukatae ati kwa sababu umeahidiwa? Kwa nini ukatae ati umeahidiwa? Chukua kwanza, alafu ya ahadi hata hiyo utachukua wakati yake ikifika. Lakini ya leo meza jameni, na uende nyumbani naye. Ama ni namna gani? Ni kama ule mtu ameenda siku ya kazi, unaambiwa kesho wewe usiende kazi, kesho niko na job. Wacha hii ya 300, kesho niko na job yako ya 1000. Utachukua gani? Ile iko. Si uchukue ile iko. Ya 1000 ikija si hata hiyo bado utachukua. Tabu iko wapi? Namna gani nyinyi mdanganywe? Nyinyi sio watu ya kudanganywa. Nyinyi sio watu ya kudanganywa jameni. Kwa Kikuyu tunasema yobo kagana keriemere. Kwa Kikuyu hiyo ni kusema ikienda kuenea juu ya anga inaenda na ile imeku. Sasa kuleni kwanza, alafu ya ahadi, hata hiyo mtakula. Shida iko wapi? Ama ni namna gani wenzangu? Hiyo ndio dunia. Jameni, msigawanywe. Hii dunia hii tutaweza kuibadilisha tukiwa na umoja peke yake. Na ndipo mimi nasema uongozi ni wa Mwenyezi Mungu, si wa binadamu. Binadamu tu anatoa hatua ile Mwenyezi Mungu ameamua. Tusipigane kwa sababu ya uongozi. Tupendane. Nani anajua ni nani ama ni nini? Unaweza kuwa unafikiria makubwa, lakini Mungu amepangia mambo mengine. Kwa hivyo, tukiwa hapa katika dunia hii yetu tunaita Kenya, yetu ni tufanye kazi kulingana na uwezo ule Mwenyezi Mungu ametupatia. Tusaidiane kulingana na uwezo Mwenyezi Mungu ametupatia. Kesho itakuwa yetu sisi wote. Ama namna gani? Tumekubaliana? Na ndipo tuwasema, tukisema BBI, hatusemi BBI kwa kitu kingine, tunasema BBI kwa sababu ya mwananchi. Na mimi nataka nishukuru viongozi wa mashinani, waheshimiwa wa mashinani wa Nairobi kwa kazi njema ambao wametenda jana kupitisha overwhelming majority kusema ya kwamba Wakenya wa Nairobi wanahitaji kuongezewa pesa mashinani, wanahitaji kuongezwa pesa ya ward, wanahitaji kuongezwa constituency, kwa sababu hiyo ni haki yao na hakuna mtu anaweza kusema nye ama he. Sini hivyo? Nyinyi wenzangu mtaunga BBI mkono wenzangu. Nyinyi wenzangu, tumefanya makosa kwa kusema Wakenya tukae pamoja. Tumefanya makosa kwa kusema tushirikiane. Hebu nionyeshe ni wangapi wanasema safari hii tunataka tuitembee tukiwa kitu kimoja. Sasa hapa Babu Owino amekaa hapa. Kama sio handshake sasa angekuwa ananitupia mawe huyu kijana huyu. Si hiyo ni sawa? Si hiyo ni sawa? Si hiyo ni sawa? Tutatembea pamoja. Tutatembea pamoja. Nionyeshe tena ni wangapi wanasema tutatembea pamoja pamoja pamoja. Mimi nasema Mungu awabariki jameni. Na tutarudi tena. Tutarudi tena. Haya, nimeona, sina macho nimeona. Haya. Asanteni sana. Na ya mwisho, wakati nimekuwa kule upande ya Udheru kufanya kazi kama hii, na wakati nimeenda kule upande ya Kiamaiko, na hata hapa wakati tunafungua maji nimeona vijana hapo, na wote wanasema wanataka kazi mtaani irudi. Mnakubaliana na wao? Mnakubaliana na wao? Basi wacha tufanye mbinu tuone ni vile tutarudisha hiyo program. Vijana waendelee na kazi ya kuwasaidia na ya kujenga Kenya. Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde. Asanteni.
President Uhuru Kenyatta in Kayole there. He says he's in the company of Babu Owino, who you'll recall shot and altered the trajectory of one DJ Evolve's life. President Uhuru Kenyatta telling voters on the BBI, take what we're offering you today, we'll still eat tomorrow, in terms of the promises of those who are vying for the 2022 presidency, including his deputy William Ruto. As far as his deputy is concerned, he said they are not in Kayole to kutusi au kuingilia anybody. So that is the president's message in Kayole. He's heading to Dandora, where he will also commission another health facility by way of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. The Maasai community are traditionally known to engage predominantly in animal husbandry. This narrative seems to be changing, however, due to the prolonged drought and a decrease in land parcels available for pasture. Maasai women from Kajiado County are shifting their focus to beekeeping as a source of livelihood. Judith Chirono with that turn of events.
With unpredictable weather patterns being experienced, such as drought and floods, which in most cases result in huge losses of farm animals and crops, these women from Mashuru village in Kajiado County have now ventured into beekeeping as an alternative source to make a living through proceeds obtained from selling honey.
Ungefikiria kwamba hamuna nyuki kwa environment kama hii, lakini nimegundua kwamba tangu tuweke maua na kuweka maji, unakuta nyuki wako kila mahali.
The women from small groups known as chamas, who previously engaged in table banking and merry-go-round, have included beekeeping and management skills by engaging experts to train them during their meetings so as to boost their knowledge on making beekeeping an economically viable venture.
Asali inatuletea mapato pia. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeona na ni kitu rahisi kwa sababu si kitu ya kwenda kuchunga kama ng'ombe kila siku, ni kitu unaegesha pale na ikifika wakati ni wakati wa kufuna.
The beekeepers are now calling on other women to embrace viable economic ventures to make them financially independent. Judith Cherono, NTV.
Let's take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And BetKing Premier League Round 12 action will continue this afternoon when Bandari will take on the AFC Leopards at Mbaraki Stadium. Ingwe's new coach, Patrick Osems, is aiming to register his first win after taking over from interim coach Anthony Modo Kimani. Meanwhile, Ulinzi Stars will host Sofapaka at Kericho Green Stadium. And on Saturday, Nairobi City Stars will play Zoo FC in the early kickoff at Kasarani Stadium before Bidco United tackle Mathare United at the same venue. Nzoia Sugar will welcome KCB at Sudi Stadium as the Kakamega Homeboys visit Western Stima at the Moi Stadium in Kisumu.
Hangerudi kwa vyovyote vile na hata uwezo wake wa kujaribu kukimbia kwa kasi, mambo yakawa ndivyo sivyo.
From football to basketball, and the Kenya's Morans will take on Senegal in their opening Group B match of the final round of the FIBA Afro Basket qualifiers at the Palais des Sports complex in Yaoundé, Cameroon this afternoon. I am so sure I did not say that right. The match will kick off at 4 p.m. The Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar is confident that United are out to correct last season's Europa League mistakes after they thrashed Real Sociedad 4-0 at Juventus Stadium in Turin, Italy. Bruno Fernandes was once again in inspirational form, scoring twice as the Red Devils dominated a poor Sociedad. Marcus Rashford and Daniel James, who both